I never imagined that a single moment of curiosity could unravel the life I thought I knew. But there I was, holding a journal that wasn't mine, and my world began to tilt. It had been an ordinary Thursday evening, or at least that's how it had started. I had returned from work, tired from back-to-back meetings, with the hum of the city fading behind me. Our apartment was quiet. My wife, Elena, had gone out to meet a friend, or so she said, and I had the house to myself, the kind of quiet that felt heavier than comforting. I poured myself a glass of whiskey and slouched into the armchair by the window, the city lights casting an orange glow over the room. I didn't mean to stumble upon it, the leather-bound journal lying on the coffee table. But there it was, as if daring me to open it. It wasn't just any notebook. It had that peculiar weight, the kind that hinted at secrets, and the delicate script on the first page made it clear this was hers, not mine. For a moment, I hesitated. I knew it was wrong. I knew the unwritten rules of trust, of privacy, of marriage. But the temptation, it was like a magnet. My fingers brushed over the cover, and then I opened it. The first entries were harmless. Reminders, small grievances about work, fleeting thoughts about our social life. I relaxed. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad, I thought. But then I reached a page dated a few weeks ago, and the handwriting felt different. Hesitant, almost trembling. "I can't keep lying to him anymore," it read. I froze. My pulse quickened. I shouldn't have read that, but my eyes moved down the page. "I met him yesterday. Just once. I didn't expect to feel this way. I know it's wrong, but I can't stop thinking about him. I wonder if I'm betraying my own heart." A cold shiver ran down my spine. I blinked, thinking it was a mistake. It had to be. Maybe she was writing fiction. Maybe she was venting, but the way her words flowed, with a raw, personal intensity, it felt real. I turned the page, my hands shaking now. I hate that I feel alive when he's around. I hate that I crave his attention. I love my husband, I swear I do, but what if love isn't enough? The whiskey glass slipped slightly from my grasp, clinking against the table. My mind raced. Who was he? How long had this been going on? And, most terrifying of all, did she feel this way about me anymore? I remember pacing the apartment, feeling the walls close in. Every memory of our life together suddenly felt fragile, like glass teetering on the edge of a table. We laughed, we shared meals, we argued over stupid things like who left the dishes in the sink. But now it seemed like all of it was a facade, hiding a truth I wasn't meant to see. I couldn't stop reading. Every page pulled me deeper, revealing feelings, confessions, desires that I had never known existed. She wrote about meeting him at a cafe, about the way he smiled at her, about the late-night messages they exchanged. The journal painted a picture of a love, one that didn't include me. And yet, there were moments of guilt, of doubt. I don't want to hurt him. He's kind, he's patient, he deserves better than me. But my heart betrays me every time I think of him. I sank into the couch, my head in my hands. I knew, intellectually, that the journal didn't define our marriage. People could write fantasies, vent frustrations, explore thoughts without acting on them. But reading it, knowing the intensity of her emotions, made it impossible to ignore the truth that some part of her heart had wandered away from me. The night passed in a blur. I didn't sleep. I kept rereading the entries, trying to decipher if this was just a fleeting infatuation or something deeper. Every word was like a knife twisting in me, yet I couldn't stop. The next morning, she returned home, cheerful and unsuspecting. She kissed me on the cheek, humming a tune I hadn't heard her sing in months. I wanted to scream, to confront her, but I didn't. I just nodded, pretending that I was fine, though my mind was anything but. Days turned into a week, and I found myself obsessed. I would find moments when she wasn't around, sneak glances at the journal, read about conversations I wasn't part of, about emotions I wasn't supposed to witness. I hated myself for it, but the more I read, the more I realized something terrifying. The man in her entries wasn't just a fleeting distraction. He was someone she had come to care for deeply. And then, one entry stopped me cold. I can't tell him yet, but I think he suspects. He's different. He notices things. I can't lie to him forever. Part of me wants to confess, but another part is terrified of losing everything. The words were dated yesterday. Yesterday. She had written this only hours before, maybe even minutes before. I felt the weight of time pressing on me. She was writing about me, about knowing I might find out. I realized then that the journal wasn't just a confession. It was a warning. I wanted answers. I wanted to confront her, but fear held me back. Fear of losing her. Fear of what I might discover. Fear of the emptiness that would follow. So I waited. And then, in the quiet of one restless night, I made a decision. I would confront her, not with anger, not with accusations, but with honesty. I needed to know if what I read was truth or just the wandering thoughts of a troubled mind. That night, I went into the kitchen while she was cooking. She smiled at me, her eyes bright and innocent. I held the journal in my hands, trembling slightly. "Elena, we need to talk," I said. She looked startled. "What about?" I placed the journal on the table, open to the last page she had written. "This. You wrote this, didn't you?" Her eyes widened, and for a moment I thought she might laugh, dismiss it as a silly misunderstanding. But instead, she sank into the chair, silent, her hands trembling slightly as she reached for the page. I didn't want you to see it like this," she whispered. I felt a mix of relief and dread. Finally, the truth was out, but now the real challenge began, understanding it, navigating it, and deciding what it meant for us. She told me about him, the man who had stirred something in her that she couldn't quite control, the man who had been a friend, a confidant, a temptation. She admitted the emotional affair, the messages, the fleeting moments of longing. But she also assured me she hadn't acted on it physically. Not yet. My mind reeled. Part of me wanted to throw the journal across the room, scream, break everything. But another part, the part that loved her despite everything, wanted to understand, to find a way to mend what was broken. We spent hours talking, crying, confronting the cracks in our marriage we had both ignored. I realized that love isn't always simple. Sometimes it wanders, falters, and tests the boundaries we think are unbreakable. That night, I slept little, haunted by her words and my own thoughts. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew one thing. My life had changed forever, and nothing would ever be the same. The next morning felt heavier than the previous night. Elena had gone to work early, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the journal. I couldn't bring myself to touch it again, not yet. Every word still echoed in my mind. Part of me wanted to erase it all, to pretend I had never read those entries, but I knew that pretending would be impossible. I walked around our apartment, trying to make sense of my emotions. Anger, betrayal, fear, and love collided inside me, forming a storm I didn't know how to navigate. I thought of the man she had written about, the one who had captured a part of her heart that I hadn't noticed slipping away. Should I confront him? Should I cut him out of her life entirely? Or should I trust Elena when she said it hadn't gone further than words and stolen glances? I decided to wait until she came home. But waiting, I realized, was agony. Every little sound made me tense. Every passing car outside felt like it carried a message about my life. When she finally returned that evening, I could see the exhaustion on her face, but also the lingering tension. She knew I had seen the journal. The way she avoided my eyes as she set down her bag told me everything I needed to know. She was afraid, ashamed, but also hopeful that I might forgive her. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey," I replied, keeping my voice even, betraying none of the turmoil inside me. We sat at the kitchen table in silence for a long moment. Then I asked the question that had been gnawing at me all day. "Do you love him?" Her eyes welled with tears, and she shook her head. I don't know. I love you, but I felt something I haven't felt in years. Something I can't explain. It doesn't mean I want to leave you. It just happened." I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the journal at her and demand answers. But I didn't. I took a deep breath. I realized that the only way forward was to speak honestly, even if it hurt. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice quieter than I expected. "I was scared," she admitted. I thought if I told you, you'd leave me. Or worse, you'd hate me. I didn't want to lose you." Her words hit me hard. I wanted to hate her, but I also wanted to hold her. The love I had for her was tangled up with betrayal and heartbreak, forming a knot that I didn't know how to untangle. We spent hours talking that night. She told me about the moments she had met him, the messages they had exchanged, the internal conflict she had felt. I told her how reading the journal had hurt me, how it had shattered the trust one thought was unbreakable. And then we came to a decision, a fragile, tentative step toward rebuilding. We agreed to set boundaries, to be more honest, and to seek counseling. It wouldn't be easy, but it was something. It was hope. In the following weeks, I noticed changes in both of us. Elena was more open, sharing her thoughts and fears without fear of judgment. I was more attentive, listening instead of assuming. We laughed more, cried more, and faced our insecurities together. The journal, once a source of heartbreak, became a symbol of honesty, painful but necessary. Yet, even as we tried to move forward, I couldn't erase the image of the man she had written about from my mind. I wondered if he was still there, waiting in the shadows of her heart. And then, one evening, I asked her directly, "Do you still have feelings for him?" She hesitated, then shook her head. "No." I realized what I felt wasn't love. It was excitement, a distraction from the comfort and stability of our life. "What I have with you, that's real. That's love." Her words should have been enough, but I realized that trust, once broken, even emotionally, doesn't mend overnight. I needed time, and I needed proof that our bond was stronger than fleeting temptation. We started small, date nights, walks in the park, quiet evenings talking without distractions. Every moment felt like rebuilding a bridge over a chasm that had opened too suddenly, too deep. I noticed the little things, the way she smiled when she caught me watching her, the way her hand brushed mine without thinking, the warmth in her eyes that reminded me of why I had fallen in love with her in the first place. But then, one day, something happened that changed everything again. I was going through my emails when I saw a message from her. My heart raced. I thought it might be from him. But it wasn't. It was from her therapist, confirming our upcoming counseling sessions. And in that moment, I realized something important. Healing isn't about finding certainty. It's about choosing to try, even when the past threatens to pull you under. Weeks turned into months. The journal was eventually put away, locked in a drawer, a silent reminder of our vulnerability and our resilience. We laughed again, truly laughed, in ways that felt genuine, unguarded. We argued too, as all couples do, but now there was honesty at the core of every disagreement. And slowly, I began to forgive, not just Elena, but also myself for reading the journal, for the jealousy, for the fear. Forgiveness didn't erase the pain, but it made room for love to grow again, stronger and more aware. One night, as we lay in bed, I reached for her hand. "I never want to lose what we have," I whispered. She squeezed my hand gently. "You won't. We'll keep choosing each other every day." In that moment, I realized that love isn't about perfection. It's about weathering storms, confronting fears, and staying, despite everything. The journal had threatened to destroy us, but it also gave us a chance to rebuild something deeper than before. I know our story isn't unique. Many marriages face temptations, secrets, and moments of doubt. What mattered wasn't the mistakes or the betrayals. It was the choice to confront them, to communicate, and to grow. And as I looked at Elena, peaceful and trusting beside me, I knew we were stronger for having survived the truth. If you're listening to my story, take this to heart. Love is fragile, but it is also resilient. Trust can be broken, but it can be rebuilt if both people are willing to face the pain honestly. Don't let fear or shame silence you. Talk, ask, forgive, and remember that every relationship has storms, but storms can teach you how to sail together. So if you're struggling in your marriage, if there's a secret you fear or a temptation you don't understand, take a deep breath, confront it with honesty, and choose love every day. That's what saved us. That's what can save you too. If you've faced betrayal or secrets in your relationship, don't wait. Speak honestly, seek guidance, and fight for the love that matters. Healing is possible, but only if you start today.